What is up, everyone? Mark here again for another edition of Pandemic Pantry Extra, and today we are going to make crepes. And the reason we're going to make crepes is because partly I have a craving for crepes, but also sort of a collaboration. There's another YouTuber named Clinton who does a series called Quarantine Kitchen in Paris. And he's been doing a number of great recipes. Links are down in the description. But he has been saying he's going to do American pancakes, American style pancakes like buttermilk pancakes for a while now. And I know that that is coming up. But knowing that that was coming, and he also did a great souffle style pancake recipe the other day, link in my description, that uses whipped eggs for leavening instead of any kind of chemical leavener or yeast. So they were super fluffy, they were delicious. But since Clinton in Paris is making American pancakes soon, I figured I would make French pancakes here in America, or a type of French pancake. To call crepes French pancakes, I think oversimplifies it, but nonetheless, we're going to make crepes. And in the spirit of things, I am in my PJs here too, with my flannel pajama bottoms. So, yeah, just some evening crepes as a snack. Crepes are great anytime. I mean, you can have them as a snack, they can be a meal, they can be a dessert, they can be something savory. You can put anything in these. Scrambled eggs, you can put ham and cheese, you can put preserves, Nutella, peanut butter, a little bit of butter and sugar with lemon, honey, maple syrup. It's endless. You need a quick idea for something to throw together in the middle of the week. This is a super easy batter, and the ingredients are almost next to nothing. If you've got them around, make some crepes and just throw some stuff out on the table that you can use as filling, leftovers, any of the things that I've already mentioned, and just have people make their own crepes family style, and you've got an instant meal. All right, let's get this started. Okay, so like I said, super simple recipe. We need 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of milk. We need 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I've got some extra here in case I end up using that for the pan. We need 3 eggs and a little bit of oil. That's about it. So the first thing we're going to do is add the sugar and the salt to the flour. And give that a little whisking. Now, this recipe really calls for a 12-inch skillet and a 1/4-inch measure of batter per crepe. I just end up kind of, because I have a really nice 10-inch skillet that I like for this. And, there's no rules here. I mean, it's just the amount of batter that you put in. So I end up just kind of eyeballing where I know where I need to fill the 1/4-inch measure to get the right amount of batter for a 10-inch-ish crepe. So then, you get a few more crepes out of it too. So you can always try a few more different fillings for the same number of carbs. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside. Now, we want to whisk our eggs and the milk together. Oh, that was close. I'm just gonna break up the eggs. Add our milk. And just kind of whisk this together a little bit. Now, we have a pan heating up on low heat over here. It's been going for a while now. We want to be able to have it heat on low for at least 10 minutes. There's about half a teaspoon of oil in there just to get it going. But you do need to have that heating up ahead of time, so get that heating while you're doing your batter. Okay, so we're going to pour in about half of the milk mixture. And we're going to whisk that into the flour until it's smooth. And, you know, use the curved shape of the whisk to your advantage and occasionally scrape down the bowl as you're going. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, so we're going to do 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I just want to stir this up a bit. Sometimes the butter solids have separated a little bit. 1 and 2. We're going to whisk that in to combine. And now the rest of the milk and egg mixture. And you just want to get this combined until it's nice and smooth. Okay, I think we're good with our batter. I am going to crank up the heat on this to medium. We're going to want to have that heat up for about another minute or so before we start with our first crepe. And we're probably going to do a little test crepe first too. I don't want to start with a full one and ruin it. Almost always the first crepe is ruined. I think we are ready to start. Let's make sure the heat is enough. And as I turn that up, I want to wipe out any excess oil in the pan and just leave a very thin film. The butter in the crepes just about is enough to keep them from sticking in and of itself, you know, beyond the little bit of oil that goes into the pan right away. That's why I like to keep a little bit of butter on the side, just in case, you know, the pan does need it. It doesn't always, but you never know. Okay, so stir this up a little bit while we wait. So basically what's going to happen here is when we cook our first crepe, we're going to take a 1/4 cup measure. If you're using a 12-inch skillet, again, I'm using about a 10-inch skillet, so I'm going to use a little bit less. And we're going to pour it in, and we're going to take the pan and we're going to tilt it around. We're going to do this quickly but gently because you got to move fast. And we're going to get that batter covering as best we can the whole circle of the bottom. And in about the time that it takes to do that, the bottom will be cooked. It'll start to bubble up a little bit, and it'll be, you know, turning a little bit brown around the edges. At that point, we should be able to flip it. We probably don't even need the spatula. You can grab it with, you know, with your hands, flip it, and then just cook it on the other side until the little bubbly spots that are in contact with the pan turn brown, and then you're good. It's about 25 seconds on the first side, about 20 seconds on the second side, and you want to let the pan reheat, recover a little bit, about 10 seconds between crepes. And all we're going to do is start cranking these things out and piling them up one on top of the other. If they need to be reheated when you're done because you spent a lot of time making all these crepes, you can just cover them, maybe put a damp paper towel over them, put them in the microwave for 30, 40 seconds, and that should do it. And again, you can fill these with anything. But all right, before we get underway, we do want to do our test crepe. Let's make sure. Let's take a little bit of batter. My instinct might be to turn this up a bit, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to. And this actually illustrates this test crepe. I don't know if you can see it really well in the footage, but the first side got kind of more evenly brown. But then because of the bubbles on the top, when I flipped it over, oops, the bubbles are kind of the only part that touches, so that's all that really turns brown. And that's really all you're looking for, is just kind of cooked through. That's good. All right. This is it. Let's do our first honest to goodness crepe. And again, because I've got a 10-inch skillet, I'm going to fill to about there. Roll it around. And just kind of keep it rolling until you get even coverage. Again, make sure you're counting. About 25 seconds for each side, for the first side, 20 seconds for the second side. I like having this bowl. It helps keep me neat because I can kind of get right up against it and be careful about how I'm scooping. It's very forgiving. You know, do not fear the crepe, for the crepe is more fearful of you. See, that's what you want the second side to look like ideally. I'm going to let this brown just a little bit more on the other side. And just creeped up the heat just a little bit. Okay. I think that's good. You don't have to line the plate with parchment. I'm just being extra cautious. And you basically just repeat this process until you're out of batter. And again, let me give this a few seconds. Just make sure it's heated back up again. Yeah, this one I wasn't quite quick enough, so it's going to be a little bit of a mess. Imperfect crepes still taste the same. And you know, you might have to play with the heat a little bit sometimes. It just kind of is what it is. You'll get the hang of it after the first few crepes for sure. And you'll notice I'm flipping them over and I have sort of a spotted side up. That's so that when you take one off and fill it and you fold it over, you get the nicely goldened first side as the first side that you see. Now, if at any point you feel like your pan's getting too hot, it's out of control, you can always move it off the heat. There's at least 16 crepes here. I lost count. 16 10-inch crepes. I'm going to keep these warm. Give me a few minutes to get some stuff clear out of the way. We will fill and taste. All right, we are back and we're going to do a little bit of a taste test. I like a little bit of a variety. I don't know that I'm going to do everything here, but there's just sort of an assortment to kind of show you, you know, more or less what you can work with. Making its first on-camera appearance is my food service bucket of Nutella. Peanut butter, strawberry jam, honey, maple syrup, lemon juice. I don't have any fresh lemon, sorry. Mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, and sugar. So we're going to try a few different combinations here just to kind of get you started. Let's take one crepe to begin with. And let's do this one with a little bit of butter. And of course, you can use real butter, but you know, the stuff melts real nice and easy and stays soft. So now, one of the mistakes I think a lot of people make with crepes, and depending on how you plan on folding it, you kind of want to fold it over and then kind of turn it into a square. But it depends how much stuff you put inside as to how possible that is. So you don't want to overdo it. People overdo this the same way they overdo, you know, pizza toppings. So this one will do, I think, a little bit of sugar. So this one's got butter, a little bit of white sugar, and just a little bit of lemon juice. Now, I would, you know, absolutely use real, you know, fresh lemon if I had it. Just kind of a few drops. Get it in there. I'm gonna fold that over. And we'll put that on the plate. Let's see, another one we'll do. Let's do a combo. A little bit of peanut butter on one half and Nutella on the other. Can't go wrong with that. Oop. That one I'm going to leave like that so that I can enjoy both halves. Let's see, what else do I want to try? I want to do one with a little bit of butter and some maple syrup inside. Okay. Maybe one more. We'll do, yet again, a little bit of butter. One thing I have to say too is I didn't need any additional oil or butter for these. The whole batch in the pan. In fact, really, I could have just wiped that pan out with a paper towel and that would have been it. So, you know, definitely do not need to overdo it on the oil. Let's do a little bit of, jam on half and honey on half. I'll do this another one that's split like that. So, you know, I'll have some pictures here, but, you know, you can't sit here and watch me eat crepes all night. I hope you like it, Clinton. I'll be waiting for the American pancakes. Thank you all so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'm out till next time. See ya.